From pillar to post, up the steps, down the walkway, it's the Wrestling Perspective. Dennis Farrell, Russ MCcall, proudly sponsored by BlueChew.com. If you go to Blue Chew, use the promo code Perspective. It helps keep the show on the air, and we like being famous, Russ.
I love being famous.
So please go to BlueChew.com, use the promo code Perspective. It is a male enhancement pill. I'll say that much. It's on the radio. We got to be clean. But look, guys, I know you're sitting there and you're like, hey, I don't need that. I'm good to go. I'm strong like bull. But I say, I don't care if you use it or not. Just go buy it.
Yeah.
Buy it for me. It's like, look, you pay $5 shipping and handling. They'll send you your first order for free. I'm happy. Russ, you're happy.
Well, that's it. Just here's the thing. All you have to say is, I'm buying it for Dennis Farrell.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do. I don't care if you use it, put it in a drawer, put it on a cabinet, do whatever, leave it in your car. I don't care.
Send it to Dennis.
You send it to Dennis. I need all the help I can get. I'm like a Kofi Kingston mid-carder in bed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Always hoping for that big push, but never really.
Well, I'm always trying to do something cool to get into the bed, when I get eliminated over the top sheets. So anyways, if you're not a wrestling fan, you wouldn't get that, or you're listening to the wrong show right now.
You wouldn't be listening right now if you weren't. So
Wrestling Perspective, Russ, we are on the road to WrestleMania 3 weeks away. We've got a lot to talk about. We got this Kofi Kingston buildup, which every time I bring up Kofi, it gets me in trouble. I'm not going to stop because I have some more views on Kofi that isn't popular. I'm not falling for this 1 week. We love Kofi. Oh my gosh, he's on the roster. I remember him. We're gonna love him again. I'm not buying this,
and that's okay. That's okay. I think you have some relevant points when it comes to it. I think in an ideal world, I'm much closer to leaning to some of the areas you're thinking. Mm-hmm. But for what we have and where we're at, I'll still argue that he's the right guy for the spot.
And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
Also, listen. I don't want to spoil anything, but AJ Styles signs a contract extension. I'm going to put a spin on this, where this contract extension signing is exactly what the WWE needs to show the rest of the wrestling world that they're still the top dog, no matter what AEW does or Impact or Ring of Honor. Signing AJ Styles, who, let's be honest, he's part of the club. He's their guy. He would have been perfect for AEW. He's the poster child of who they're going after. WWE steps in, gives him a ton of money. I don't know, actually, but gives him some money, enough to make him want to stay. We'll talk more about this.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that.
Yes. So when we come back, we'll talk about that. We've got everything going on. Road to WrestleMania. If you missed any part of this, go to WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. You can listen to this. When we come back, we're going to talk more wrestling. Oh, some of the things we say in the commercial breaks, Russ.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, if people could only listen, I would have been in trouble. Like, I'd have no friends at this point.
Yeah, you would have been, way out of them.
All right, Wrestling Perspective, sponsored by BlueChew.com. Use the promo code Perspective. Russ, what are we talking about this week during the news segment?
Oh, we've got a handful of things going on right now. First, I want to talk about the Kurt Angle retirement match at WrestleMania and the hoopla surrounding it.
No one actually believes it's going to be Baron Corbin, right? I feel like this is just setting up a swerve, or they're buying time to see if maybe they can get John Cena or somebody from his past, because I just cannot believe that this is who they're going with.
And that would seem to make sense, except for everything that I'm reading says that this is absolutely the plan right now.
Are you okay with it?
Absolutely not.
I don't know. I mean, they've been in a storyline for the last, few months now.
Not a good one.
No, well,
it's been one.
It's better than a lot of storylines that are going on.
Really?
I
don't know about that.
I think I would put Angle and Corbin, which, by the way, it's equally bad. It's not just Corbin. It's Angle on his side, too. That's just horrible. I would put this up against the women's tag team division right now.
Which is not good.
Not good at all. I'm trying to think of some of the rumored 17 matches that are supposed to go on. I'd put this up against anything Nia Jax is doing right now. I would put this as being bad. Yeah. I would also put this up against Alexa Bliss as the WrestleMania host bad. Really? You're using your own talent as hosts? I would put this up against Colin Jost bad. I'd put this up against anything Braun Strowman is doing bad.
Yeah. It's not good.
No.
It is not good at all. The whole thing it just stinks. And you
It
said
doesn't matter who he's in there with.
There's
either.
rumors of other people coming in, and I feel like for his sake, he deserves a match against a top level star.
Does he?
I do. I think his
don't.
career as a whole and what he accomplished before he left, it's not even counting what he did in Impact. Now, granted, since he's been back, his body's beat up. He can't do what he used to do, and that's fine. And he shouldn't be held to that same standard of what he was doing when he was healthy and 35.
I disagree. If you're going to get into the ring at the highest level, you need to be at the highest level, and Kurt Angle is not. And I don't want to use the word waste a prime opponent on him. Not that there's many left. John Cena maybe, but 3 weeks out, I don't know if John Cena is even going to do something, which kind of feels like
that's a whole other topic we have to do here in a minute.
So I think this is kind of perfect for his skill level. You don't want to put him in a ring with someone that's going to outshine him.
No, but I think if you have the right opponent,
Who's the right opponent, though?
I think John Cena should be the guy. But I think
John Cena would make him look horrible in the ring.
I disagree. I think John Cena would make him shine. I think if you have the right opponent that can help carry him and shine him along to the right spot.
He's not a rookie. He's just moving. You know what?
He's just slow.
He's Matt Hardy bad. He's not fluent. He looks clunky in the ring. There's nothing he's doing in the ring that looks good. Maybe a suplex.
If you give him enough time in the right scenario, I think he could do it. And I'm gonna.
How much time? There's 17 matches.
Yeah,
that match might be 5 minutes.
But I'm saying give him time to build the match up and figure it out and work it out. And I also want to disagree with you when you said he should be at the top level.
He should be. If you're,
I'm going to disagree with you on that because he signed on to be to the Hall of Fame ceremony, and they brought him back to be an on-air general manager character, right? Not to be an active wrestler. This is the same thing they did with Ric Flair in 2002, whatever it was, right? Sometime around then, when he first came back. Mm-hmm. He signed on to be a GM role, just a figurehead on TV, until they said, you're going to wrestle.
So you're saying they're forcing him into it?
I think they're telling
him, you wrestle or you're gone.
I think they're telling him, this is what you're going to do. You work for us. We tell you what to do, and this is what you're going to do.
I think if you're a Hall of Famer, you have the right and the power to say no. I disagree with that. think at any point Kurt Angle says, I can't go WWE, today's WWE, not WWE 10 years ago, would have been like, you look horrible. Now,
I think he could absolutely say, I can't do it, but his paycheck's requiring that, right? So could he say he's not going to? Yes, but that's their call to put him in that match and in the ring to do this, not his.
I think it's his call to say yes or no. And he looks horrible. He shouldn't even be on the WrestleMania card.
No, I agree.
His last match should have been like, I don't know, 4 months ago, 3 months ago. Yeah. He does not need to be here. And if you put him in the ring with Cena, Cena's going to look good. Cena's going to run circles around him, and it's going to show. If he was just a little hurt and he's trying to cover it, I think he could pull this off. But he's not moving right. He's, like I said, he's clunky. He looks like a Yugo. Yeah. So for you to say Cena's going to make him look good, I don't know if there's anybody that can make him look good at this point in his career in the ring.
I think John Cena could do it. I absolutely do.
This is the same John Cena, by the way, that everybody on the internet says is the worst wrestler ever and boos him. And
John Cena is the worst wrestler with the biggest number of great matches. Let's be honest.
He has his good matches.
He's had quite a fair share of really good to great matches. I'm
not knocking him. I just think John Cena is too good for this match, and it will show. There's too good. There are people you could put him in there with that would make him look good. I think if it was a Rey Mysterio, that might have been a little bit better match because he can be more of a base angle, and you don't have to do as many moves. And you can do a couple power moves.
But for the story of the match, which is Angle's retirement match, you're not looking for Angle to be a base to get thrown around either.
No, but for the story of the match, which is Kurt Angle's final match, there's no story to who he's going to wrestle. They're just picking somebody and throwing them in there. There's no who, what, whys. There's no bringing somebody out from his past for unfinished business. There's no young buck coming out trying to retire the old man. It's just, Hey, Kurt Angle's.
not?
Right, well, I'm not doing it. If it was me, there'd have been something behind
Yeah.
it. But it's Kurt Angle's final match. Who are we going to pick? Baron Corbin, guys. Yeah, sounds good to me. And move on.
And that shouldn't sound good to anybody.
No.
I don't. If there's one wrestler in WWE that I could say, you can cut him, and I would not even notice he was gone. I would not miss him, and I would not fight for anyone. I wouldn't see where. Oh, he'd have a good place here or this. Baron Corbin. You could take him away, and I would not miss him for a single second.
Here's the problem. I agree with that 80%. The 20% that I don't is when he is in this alliance with McIntyre and Lashley, I buy it. I think they're all three great, and they bring out the best in all three of them.
Really? So I look at it and be like, what's he doing with these two?
I think they bring him up. They elevate him up, and he fits in well with his role. Some of it is WWE creative, He still wears a sweater vest or a cummerbund over the ring.
He looks like the guy that takes your order at the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Which is what he should be doing rather than wrestling
not that
WrestleMania.
bad.
He is. He is that bad.
No.
He is that bad.
He is not.
Listen, I'm going to call him Olive Garden from here on out.
That's fine. You call him whatever you want. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I just don't think he's getting a fair shake. Now, he's not good. He's not great. And I think he's still growing. But he has shown some flashes of interesting stuff in the ring. That finishing move he has is pretty darn cool.
Which anybody could do it.
But he's doing it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anybody can wave a hand in front of their fist and drop a knuckle on someone's hand. John Cena is doing it, but
John Cena got it over.
Well, Baron Corbin's working his butt off.
But he's not getting it over. He's not getting it over.
I'm not saying
so the
he's
move
great.
means squat.
But is it his fault or WWE creative?
I think it's a little of
Because
both.
I thought when he was the general manager, he wasn't bad.
Oh, I thought he was terrible at that too. I have not liked him.
Wow.
I didn't think he was good at that. I didn't think he was entertaining in NXT. He was a guy that should not have been brought on, let alone brought up.
Wrestling perspective with Dennis Farrell and Negative Nancy.
Yeah,
this is wow.
Yeah, I cannot
look. I
would rename X-Pac Heat Baron Corbin Heat at this point. Just go away.
I'm not arguing that he's good. I don't like him also, but I think he's the perfect opponent for Kurt Angle. That's all I'm saying. You want? It's not like you're going to bring the best out of Kurt Angle at this point.
If they're wrestling Saturday night at a gymnasium, throw Corbin in. But this is not the spot.
All right, hold that thought. Wrestling perspective. Listen to it all on over 100 radio stations when we come back. Russ McCall, Dennis Farrell. We're going to talk Kofi Kingston and a bunch of other WrestleMania stuff. We will be right back. Sponsored by BlueChew.com. Head over to BlueChew.com. Use the promo code Perspective. Get your first order for free. Just pay $5 shipping and handling. It's a gift from Russ McCall and myself, Dennis Farrell. And it keeps us on the radio when we talk wrestling, and we like it. And that's why you should do it, Russ.
Yeah, if you don't go to Blue Chew and we don't get those orders coming in, then you don't get to hear us, and that's going to make everybody sad.
Then I have to move back into my mom's basement and be a wrestling nerd that way.
Yeah,
move my whole family back into my mom's basement. Who, by the way, has been dead for 2 years, so that's even weirder.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little crowded, and the new family that's living there that's gonna be a little upset.
No, guys, come on, it'll work out. I used to be on the radio.
Yeah, I'll show you where everything's at down here.
Road to WrestleMania. The next couple shows are definitely going to be WrestleMania heavy. Russ, part of WrestleMania is talking about Kofi Kingston right now.
Absolutely, it is.
We have gone back and forth. We don't really agree too much on it. I feel like I've made some points and swayed you a little bit more to my point of view.
In certain ways, yeah. You have made some groundwork, but I'm still far from thinking this is a bad idea.
And it's not Kofi Kingston himself. Kofi Kingston is a victim of himself in this scenario. And I'm not talking about kayfabe right now being screwed out of going to WrestleMania. We all know that's going to work itself out, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Kofi Kingston, who for many years is only been known as a guy to throw pancakes into the crowd and do a funny handstand or a flip at the Royal Rumble, right? That's been his legacy for 5 years now.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Can you name in the last 5 years, outside of this push around the Elimination Chamber, of anything interesting he's done that has made you go, Kofi Kingston should be a main eventer?
As an individual?
Yes.
No.
Now the New Day thing's still over to me. I love it. And I think it's great.
I think the New Day feud with the Usos that went into, I want to say,
But as an individual,
no. Well, but he's been a solid part of a tag team,
yes.
working tag team style matches for the last 5 years.
With
So
it.
no, by definition, there's no way for something to stand out that way.
Well, but if Kofi was a main eventer, yes. Now I see a horrible backlash right now on the internet with people like, "So how's this Kofi Kingston as a mid Carter thing working out with you?" Delete your tweet stuff. He's still a mid Carter to me. And here's why. And I'm going to push this home. I believe he can be a main eventer. I believe he should be a main eventer. I believe that this storyline would have been amazing if it was 6 months long. This storyline he's in has so many plot holes right now. I don't understand what's going on. Why is Vince McMahon screwing him?
I have no idea. No, you're absolutely right. You have a great point, and that is absolutely an area I'll agree with you on. I think if you had really planned this out and paid attention, you put him in a good match, a good higher profile match at WrestleMania, and you build to a SummerSlam title match. We don't really have that luxury.
No.
And so what we have, which I'm happy for him because I think he is still the hottest guy with the crowd right now.
What happens if Mustafa Ali never got hurt? Would we be doing this right now with Kofi Kingston? No, right?
No, we'd be scratching our heads right now though because
it'd be New Day versus the Usos at WrestleMania versus another tag team.
Against the Hardys.
Let's be honest with ourselves. This is why I'm saying that just because he filled in and then the fans remembered that Kofi Kingston is talented, above talent, one of the most talented, I'm not arguing that. But there was no build up, no push. And they're trying to make me get emotionally invested in the Kofi Kingston storyline, and they're not doing enough. They're trying to fit it in the short amount of time. It feels rushed, and I'm glad to see him get his comeuppance. I want to see him at WrestleMania, but I want to have seen it done right. You know what doing it right is? Having an opponent for Daniel Bryan. There's no announced opponent for Daniel Bryan, which makes me go, so he's just not going to give it to Kofi and Daniel's not going to wrestle?
Yeah, 3 weeks before Mania. You're still trying to build the story?
Yes.
This needed to be settled weeks ago.
You give me an opponent that he was never going to wrestle. Right?
Yeah.
It could have been Mustafa Ali. It could have been John Cena. It could have been anybody. Just have him versus somebody to give me that, is Kofi really out? Because right now, it's, all right, Kofi will find his way in the night before WrestleMania or the go-home show.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you're doing Kofi any favors that way.
No, I think you're really hurting the storyline, and you are doing some damage, quite a bit of damage, I think, along the way. If you wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way you're telling the story, you're doing damage to WWE because you're actually setting it up with the New Day saying on WWE.com this past week, after this past week's SmackDown, they did an interview with the New Day after Kofi finally loses at the end of the gauntlet, with the New Day saying, you're right. This kind of a company like this is never going to give people like us a shot at the top. They're never going to give it to us because these people are holding us back, and they're always going to because that's how they feel. And I mean, you're dog whistling a lot of racial stuff there that
doesn't help your company.
No.
And it's a reputation they absolutely have. Remember, was it 3 weeks ago we went through WWE champions, WWF, not the Universal, not the WCW champion, the pure WWE, WWF championship. Not one black guy has held that championship.
No, and you're taking a sediment that does exist.
Now people may go, well, The Rock, but The Rock identifies himself as Samoan.
Absolutely does.
And that's how I'm going to identify this in this argument.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so when you're going on your own company's website with not a storyline figurehead, but the actual owner of the company, and saying he's a racist old man and he's always held back black people. He's going to continue to do it, and he's hosing us out. One win is you've implanted these thoughts into people who one win isn't going to erase it at the end of the day.
Now, he's got to win it at WrestleMania, right?
I hope so.
If this is, because this will be shades of Triple H, Booker T all over again. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, guys, go Google it or YouTube.
Yeah.
Triple H versus Booker T, because that's a lot of racial undertones in that storyline.
I will go on record to say that in 2019, with all of the racial undertones that this story has, with the actual owner of the company, in our current climate, if they go through with all of these things and make the company look out to be this big racist giant entity.
By the way, it's not getting a lot of heat right now, which I'm kind of shocked about.
And he loses,
it's not good.
That would be the dumbest move they've probably ever done.
I agree. But you go back and you look at this storyline and some of the things that happened, right? Kofi Kingston waits outside Vince McMahon's door, and he knocks a bunch of times, and no one opens the door. Vince McMahon comes out and is like, wow, you kept me waiting for 2 hours. Really? You're going to tell me in that small room Vince McMahon didn't hear the door knock 8 times? Now, when they barge in, Vince McMahon gets mad because they demand, and then puts Kofi into a 3-way or a handicap match. Now the story starts going sideways because now New Day's barred. And before we recorded, I asked you, how many times in recent memories do you remember any members of New Day interfering in a match?
None.
Why are they being barred then?
Yeah, you're looking for a simple storyline plot that doesn't make any sense. It's not logical.
And if they're brothers and they're standing backstage, which I loved, by the way, every time they cut to the Kofi match, more people started gathering around.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't, if everybody was for Kofi, why wouldn't they have all started around?
Well, and as he's getting hosed over and over and over again,
no one person.
Only the 2 of them were barred.
Yeah.
Anyone else there cheering him on could have. He's like, you know what? I'm not having this. I'm going to make sure he doesn't get screwed. And the rest of the locker room could have gone out and saved him, and they didn't.
I really thought AJ was going to interfere in the Randy Orton match because here's my issue: you had way too many fluke wins. We all knew there had to have been one, and there had to have been some sort of run-in.
Yeah.
But there was 0 run-ins.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me Kofi Kingston can destroy Randy Orton after facing 4 other guys?
No. Well, and then
Kofi should not. That gauntlet match should have ended. I would have been okay with the storyline if Randy Orton ended it, and then we get the Kofi's not going to WrestleMania, and we move on to whatever they planned. Having McMahon come out and be like, "Oh, well, you beat Randy Orton, who's, by the way, supposed to be like a 16-time champion. Now I'm going to bring Daniel Bryan up." Didn't make sense to me.
No, it would have. You're right. It would have made more sense to have Orton beat him.
Yep.
And then Kofi's argument to be, I just beat 4 other top level guys. You give me fresh one-on-one against Randy, I'll beat him, and then let him beat him.
I agree. I 100% agree. I just don't understand why Vince McMahon is screwing him. He's not talking.
Not to mention Samoa Joe and Randy Orton are both guys that are also already programmed into top-level matches for WrestleMania that you just jobbed out at the end of a gauntlet match after their opponent has been already worn down.
Not just worn down, but beaten with a chair and then choked out against the ropes.
Yeah.
I tell you, Russ.
It was really poor booking.
And this is not...
Really poor. I didn't like it at all.
And it's not getting me behind Kofi Kingston. It doesn't make me go, come on, Kofi, get in. Because I nitpick it. It's like watching a bad movie.
It frustrates me more than anything.
He deserves so much better. I don't mind if he gets screwed out of it and you want me to wait the go-home show before telling me if he's in or not. I'm okay. But do it the right way. This isn't the right way, Russ.
No, I absolutely agree with you on that. I think there's a lot of flaws in this. I mean, again, like you said, what does Vince McMahon have against him? Why is he doing this? There's no explanation besides the dog whistle of Vince doesn't like black guys.
By the way,
I mean,
this
that's
was
really
the
what
narrative. That was the narrative, so we don't get in trouble.
Yeah, that's
put
the narrative
out on WWE.com.
Yes, that is the narrative that they're putting forward as the only explanation and answer for what they're doing right now, and that's shooting themselves in the foot.
All right, next segment. AJ Styles signs a contract extension. Russ, I want to explain to you why I think This puts WWE back on the map as the big dogs in town. You're listening to Wrestling Perspective. We'll be right back. Russ MCcall, Dennis Farrell back here at Wrestling Perspective. If you missed any bit of the show, go over to WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. You can get links to listen live from the website. You can go subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. You can hear it in over 100 radio markets all over the United States. So thank you guys for listening and supporting us. BlueChew.com. Use the promo code Perspective. It is a pill that makes your night a lot better in bed. That's all I'll say. So $5 shipping and handling. We'll send you the first order for free. Not personally, because I don't do that stuff. I'm not a common folk. So I don't put my hands on it. I have other people to send people that stuff. But if you go to Blue Chew, use the promo code Perspective. You pay the $5 for shipping and handling. We'll keep coming back on the radio every week.
Is that who that shipping guy was? The one that says P. Williams?
Yeah.
Something like that,
yeah.
I thought you said?
The Canadian postmaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, we're back. I want to bring up something I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
And I haven't really thought this out. So strap in and go on this journey with me,
Okay,
Russ.
hit me with it. What do you got?
We all know at this massive role AEW is on right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dominating headlines. People are going to say they're automatically going to jump into number 2 behind the WWE. And if everything goes right, they could be just, from maybe a rating standpoint, as big as WWE. I mean, they've got the money and they could probably, after a couple years, start setting up their own networks, start developing their own economy within their, just like the WWE did. It's not going to happen overnight. But everybody assumes nobody wants to work from WWE anymore, right? I mean, the narrative now is, everybody wants out to go work with their buddies.
I'll disagree with you on that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Randy Orton was rumored to leave, right? I'm just talking rumored stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we don't truly know on the outside. The Gallows and Anderson, rumored to leave. There's that time where the Usos were rumored to want out of their contracts. Who else? I mean, Ty Dillinger asked for his release.
Got it. Yeah.
There, EC3. There's talks that he's unhappy right now. And
as he should be.
Right.
But yeah.
But you see the narrative that's being built.
People want out.
Right.
They want to go. Yeah.
They want to be used where the money is and where they could be used right.
Yeah.
But now AJ Styles is, to me, the fascinating pawn in this whole scheme, because when you think of the Bullet Club, I think of AJ Styles. That's kind of about the time where I started to pick up and get interested in the Bullet Club.
Okay.
And when I think of all those guys, I think AJ's their buddy. They're the way this company's being built. It's less travel. AJ's a homebody. It would speak perfect for what AJ would want, right?
Yep.
The fact that he signed a contract extension with the WWE automatically puts them at the number 1 position, the power position all over again, which sets precedent that no, not all your buddies want to leave. No, you may are trying to sell people on a bill of goods that you have Shangri-La over there. And by the way, I'm an AEW fan. I don't want it to sound like I'm bashing them and I'm like all WWE, because I'm not. I'm kind of more of an Impact guy.
Yeah.
So, but I think the signing is just more than getting AJ Styles for a year or 2 years or whatever. I really think that this is one of those power moves where maybe some guys go, whoa, hang on. You mean AJ isn't, on the first train out of the WWE'sville?
See, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think it puts them back in a power position. I don't think AJ Styles is a good measure and good measuring stick for that.
Who would be then?
I think you're looking for a crew of guys in NXT or freshly called up. That's the measuring stick. The young crew in their 20s to early, barely 30. If they're looking to get out and make a move, that's where you're really looking at is your measuring stick. The reason I say that, AJ Styles, for as fresh as he is to WWE, he seems like a fresh young face because he's in great shape.
He's not, but yes,
he's a great athlete and all of that. But the fact of the matter is, AJ Styles has been on TV, on national television, for 20 years. Mm-hmm. He started at the tail end of WCW. He spent almost a decade and a half in TNA. He went through New Japan and was on TV here. He went and then into WWE. He's got a 20-year career on television. He's 40-some years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's talked about wanting to spend more time at home and eventually wind down his career. And probably, he said, probably one more contract was what he was looking before he really wanted to settle in with the money he's got with his family, right?
Right.
So, are you going to go in and try to compete with guys that are half your age and try to reestablish yourself in a new place and gather all that when really the reality is you're not going to keep up athletically even with Kenny Omega, with the Young Bucks, with the new guys that they've got coming into AEW who are already built and focused in to be the stars of that company, that AJ already is where he's currently at with a great living guaranteed currently to ride it out, slow down over the next 2 years. He can't slow down in AEW. That's not an option. Not with the talent pool that they're assembling.
I disagree.
He cannot slow down there. You cannot put him in the top of the card with a Kenny Omega and guys like that and slow down and still keep your shine. But he can do that here. He can slow down a little bit.
Oh, he's got house shows.
He's wrestling.
TV. He's wrestling. He would wrestle more in the WWE than he would at AEW.
Sure, but you've been to house shows recently.
Yeah.
They're not working that hard.
Also, I disagree.
Can slow down.
He can still run with those young bucks down there. He is the top one of the. What would you put him as a top 4 wrestler in WWE right now?
Sure, probably. I'd have to think it through a little, but probably.
So you're telling me a top 4 wrestler, even in their 40s, isn't going to be able to hang with some young bucks? When, by the way, they just signed Chris Jericho, who's older than AJ Styles.
I understand that.
I think you were dead wrong on this AJ Styles thing.
The role that Chris Jericho is playing is not the same role that AJ Styles would be playing.
But we don't know
yet. Which makes
yet.
a difference.
You can't tell me they're going to sign Chris Jericho to what he calls the biggest contract he's ever got.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be the top guy
But
there.
he's working as a heel. You get to change your pace as a heel. AJ Styles is not going to jump to AEW with AJ Styles and book him as a heel and then get over. He's not a heel for them.
Well, hang on now.
He's the king of that crowd. He's going to need to be a babyface.
Wasn't he a heel as the Bullet Club?
Yeah.
Wasn't he a heel in WWE when he threw Shane McMahon's face through a window in a limo?
But that didn't get over.
Well,
that heel run in WWE did not get over. People wanted to cheer him. Even in the Bullet Club,
maybe
the American audience wanted to cheer him. They did not want to boo him at that point.
Maybe. But once again, bad booking. We said that earlier with Kofi. I think he could get over as a heel in AEW. It might take some work. But if you were to have him there, once again, you just make that roster that much stronger to compete against the WWE. So that's why I think it's not so much a coup, but it's a statement that the WWE was able to hang on to him because at his age, I will agree with you one thing. He wants to stay at home. In AEW, the way they're structuring this company, you're going to spend most of your time at home. You're not going to be running 14, 20-something days in a row, maybe get 2 days at home, then you go back out and do the same thing. I think that benefits AJ Styles there if he has an AEW kind of ride there.
I could see the scheduling fitting that mode. And
especially
working.
at his age, by the way. And you're right. You're absolutely right. He's been on TV for 20-some-odd years. He is known to audiences all over the world. He's been a top guy in every company he's been in. That's why it would have been great for AEW to have him. And that's why I think it's a power play that on this perceived sinking WWE ship that everybody's like, uh-oh, they're in trouble. Everybody wants out. Finally, they're exposed for, nobody really wanting to be there, wanting the money. That's why I think this is a bigger signing than just, hey, AJ Styles signed a contract, let's move on. I think it's a statement.
I'm sure for them it is a statement piece that they're trying to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, if you're signing with AEW, you got to turn up the heat, turn up the volume, turn up the speed, and go full steam ahead for the duration of that contract because this company's trying to get off the ground and they're trying to impress.
No, I'm
AJ Styles is in a mode. He's not looking to upshift and speed up. He's looking to downshift.
Boy, I don't know.
And slow down his career. Which is, I mean, he's wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania. You can't downshift any slower than a Randy Orton pace.
Once again, not his fault.
No.
But I'll disagree.
But if this is what makes him comfortable. He's got to be looking, again, they're going to make a power play. They're going to put money on the table because they're worried. So he's probably getting a good chunk, probably a good chunk more. And I have no idea about the money. But
nobody knows.
Yeah, he could be getting a good chunk, probably a good chunk more than he was already getting in order to stay. Mm-hmm. And he's guaranteed to be able to slow down.
Well, we don't know. We're assuming.
He can slow his pace.
See,
you have the availability on WWE TV to slow your pace and to slow your roll, and that option is not there in AEW.
Boy, I think you're apples and oranges here, where sure he may have to go harder in the ring, but you're doing it less road time, less house shows, which equals out the going slow, but you're on the road constantly in WWE. I really think...
But if he's got it in him to be able to keep going, here's the thing. He can still do those flying moves and those backflips.
Oh, absolutely. He's not shown any signs.
It's a difference maker from a guy who can still go, but would like to go a little slower or a little less frequently with time.
You're assuming he wants to.
Versus a guy like you said, Kurt Angle earlier, right?
Well,
now for Kurt Angle, that's a different maker where it's like, oh, well, he's got to perform every night. Well, for one night, he might be able to pull out. One night a month, he might be able to pull something out.
By the way, we haven't seen that out of him.
No, we have not. But he might be able to pull something like that out. That schedule you're talking about fits somebody in that mode more than an AJ Styles right now because he's,
But we're assuming that's what he wants. We don't really know. And I'll be honest, I don't know why he re-signed. You don't know why he re-signed. He's not shown any signs of wanting to slow down. It's just been the programs he's been put into. Now, he may have zero interest in going to AEW and starting over. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting here assuming why he did it. I think, though, and not talking about why he did it. My argument is not why he resigned. My whole argument is it is a statement for WWE, not a statement for AJ Styles. A statement for WWE to say, hey, this is one of these pretty boy anointed AEW guys you guys were all talking about. We locked him down, and we're going to continue to do so.
I see the point there.
Yeah.
I think there's another angle to look at it from too. AEW has been also very specific, and it's going to be hard for people to think this thought process, but they're very strategically planning out their roster and the roles they want people on that roster to play, and how they want this to unfold, and what the TV is going to look like, all of this stuff.
Right.
Maybe they don't have a spot for AJ Styles.
I agree. We don't know.
Maybe they don't even want him.
We don't know.
They may, as his friends, they might have said, "Hey, listen, for what we would be able to do and what we would think, man, you'd be stupid to turn away that slow down money and with that big money there. Just keep it."
I absolutely agree with you in the point of, at this point in his career, he's dumb not to take the money.
Yeah.
Because he's not a spring chicken. He's not just starting his career.
No,
I'll be honest.
not at all.
If he goes another 4 years, I'll be shocked.
Same here, and that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to start over in a new company where you've got to go full steam ahead, even if you're only there so many days or so many whatever it is, right? And again, there's no guarantee on the dates because they're jumping and expanding for TV. That pace could greatly pick up.
And we've seen wrestlers make head scratching decisions, and we're running out of time in this segment. I may carry this over to a few minutes in the next, where what's this do for Dean Ambrose? Keep this in mind now. When we come back on Wrestling Perspective, Russ McCall, Dennis Farrell, we will talk about Dean Ambrose in the AJ Styles signing. You're listening to Wrestling Perspective. Go to WrestlingPerspectivePodcast.com. Get this and every other podcast. We'll be right back. Wrestling Perspective, powered by Blue Chew. Go to BlueChew.com. Use the promo code Perspective. Help you keep us on the radio. $5 shipping and handling. You get your first order for free. Russ McCall, Dennis Farrell stays on the radio. Everybody wins, especially your spouse in bed. Don't tell me you don't need it. We don't care. Anyways, let's move on, Russ. We have a lot to try to fill in this final couple minutes here. Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
We talked about him last segment. We want to go back to this real quick. I truly believe this Dean Ambrose thing is a storyline, because when in WWE history, outside of CM Punk, maybe once, has they really acknowledged somebody wanting out and leaving after their contract?
I don't think it's a storyline at all. I think they're doing it out of desperation. I think they're trying to kill momentum with it. I think they don't want that look that there's a giant surprise that Dean Ambrose just showed up at Double or Nothing, which is exactly what I think is going to happen. It should be able to get in under the wire there, it looks like. And
it'll be close.
Yeah. They don't want that to be a giant surprise that he shows up. They're trying to kill the momentum by telling you he's leaving, he's gone.
I don't think it
and
matters.
Making it flippant. They're making it flippant like, yep, Ambrose is gone. Is what it is. And so they're trying to take the heat off of him leaving and by just laying it out and acting like they don't care.
That's a valid point, and I really like that. But on the flip side, I just go, normally Eric Bischoff, who I'm not a big fan of, said something, and I really agree with him. Is Dean Ambrose leaving doesn't hurt WWE in any way. He's going to change his name, and he's going to be Jon Moxley on the independent scene again. And I think the average WWE fan will not follow him down to wherever he goes. The WWE fans stay loyal to the WWE product. I bet you if you were to poll 100 hardcore WWE fans, right?
Yeah. And
you were to go, who's Jon Moxley? I would say 10 to 15 could tell you who they were.
Oh, I'm sure you're probably right. And I don't think he's going to... I think there's a great difference between hurting WWE and helping AEW. There's such a gap between the sizes.
I don't think he helps AEW either. I mean, you look at that talented roster right now. Look, if it was Chris Jericho and then who else, I would say yes. But you've got Chris Jericho, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega.
But those guys are, besides Jericho, are independent stars. This is a guy coming fresh off of WWE TV.
I disagree. They're not independent stars. They're. You made the point with AJ Styles. They're on, big time TV. Yeah. New Japan, Ring of Honor. These guys are television wrestlers. They're not indie stars.
But it's still on a different scale.
I don't know.
And WWE is so far ahead of anywhere else with anyone else that there's a big difference between, him coming into AEW can give them a boost and help them, which is all what it's going to do is help create momentum to continue to build towards WWE, but removing him from the machine here doesn't necessarily hurt that machine.
Here's where I agree and disagree. I agree on WWE. I disagree because the people that are watching AEW are the people that know who all those people are, superstars in all those eyes. So you're talking about a roster already chock full of superstars, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere from Christopher Daniels to, the Young Bucks, the Kenny Omega,
Cody.
Yep. To add Jon Moxley into that group, it's putting a cherry on top of this amazing, float that's
going
full.
To build momentum.
It's not.
It's momentum. It's a momentum builder.
We got to go. Wrestling perspective. We'll talk more later. Russ, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right, guys. Wrestling perspective. Have a good night.